10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Is brought to you by Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, providing first-class construction services on 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Well, I'm excited because Dan Hicken in the break said, hey, bye. He was going to tell me something. Well, I'll just wait till we come back.
Well,
so this better be good.
It's not going to be good. You won't take it that well, but we are going to exchange concepts and rationalizations. Beef?
10-4, good buddy.
What do we got?
Hooking the Googans up this week. We're going to fill our bellies with a wonderful $25 gift certificate to dine at Woody's Barbecue.
Oh, wonderful. Listen, it was we sit here and it's easy for us to sit here and go, Drew Brees was terrible this year. Drew Brees was bad last night. But that's not fair in some respects to what Drew Brees has meant as an NFL player, a Hall of Famer, and to that city.
Fair enough.
And so last night, did you see the video making the rounds?
With his family and Tom and,
Like after the game?
Yes.
It was great.
And one of the reasons I loved
passes
it,
with his left hand.
and his kid, and Brady threw a touchdown pass. Nice pass, by the way, in the corner to the kid. And they had a moment, and he doesn't do that. Like his kids, frankly, probably didn't care a whole hell of a lot whether they won or lost. They're on the field playing in Drew's little backyard in a way.
Yeah.
You know, the Superdome field.
Yeah.
And
You'll miss that part.
Yeah. I just thought that was really cool and puts it in perspective. And I know Saints fans are hurting today. And then there's a tender moment as well, video. But it's like everybody was shooting it. And I kind of was like, I don't think he was doing it for them. But it's almost like an invasion of privacy in a way. But like there's him and his wife are hugging, and you can tell, you know he's retiring.
No, and listen, take it from a guy who has tracked the Falcons for a lot of years.
Yeah.
What the Saints were up until
Yeah,
06 when Drew Brees came and what he is in 14 years, he's had more than twice as many accomplishments and high water marks for the Saints than they had in their first 40 years.
I feel like, and that's what you want. That's what you hope you get in Peyton Manning and Indy and what we hope we get with Trevor Lawrence here in Jacksonville. That's what we want. We want a guy who not only wins, obviously winning is the most important thing, and the rest, who cares? But if on top of that, if you win, you love Duval, you're
a part of
the community.
Civic responsibility.
I mean, what Drew Brees has done off the field for New Orleans is incredible, right?
Yeah.
He means as much to that city, I think, as the Mannings do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Mannings, because Archie played in New Orleans, that's why he ended up staying there. But the other ones never played there or were part of it. But, you know, obviously the Mannings are New Orleans.
Yeah.
And Archie stayed in that one house that he had, and you get that feeling that Drew Brees is the same way. I just think that's great. And I'm pushing it down the road. You know, when you watch Peyton go to Indy, that's what he meant to that city. That city was, you know, he built it. He's responsible for the downtown burgeoning. Trevor Lawrence can be responsible, and I hate to put all that on the young man's shoulders, but...
Well, if he's great, the Jags become relevant.
Oh, man.
It's a hot ticket. And, again, I'm amazed by the drumbeat of interest from like a ticket standpoint. I mean, at least in my circles, just about any and everyone I talk about, they're either talking about getting back in or they're already back in. Or how do they get back in?
But they need to be back in.
Yeah, they do.
We all need to come back.
Yeah, if there was ever a time to be optimistic without the results yet, now is the time.
Yes.
And we've drummed up optimism over things that we, in hindsight, shouldn't have ever been optimistic about.
Right.
I think this time it'll be optimism.
So let me ask you something.
That'll get paid off.
The Jaguars draft Trevor. They have a great training camp or whatever, optimism sky high. We see things from Trevor that we had hoped to see. Let's say they open, home opener is, let me look at who we got here. I don't know. Give me, you're the home. Well, give me one. You tell me. Tennessee, Indy, Houston, the Bills. Maybe it's the Super Bowl champion, Buffalo Bills.
That's too hard.
The Dolphins,
go.
Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, or the Niners or the Broncos. Who do you want as a home opener?
Who do I want? The Broncos.
Okay, well,
I want to win.
All right, give me an attractive. What's the most attractive?
Just about all those other ones are pretty attractive, but I would say the most attractive game would be the Tennessee game.
All right, so let's say we open with Tennessee. It's got to be sold out.
I would hope so.
Right?
First
game at home.
I'm thinking
Trevor Lawrence era.
I think that they may skyrocket to 50,000 season ticket
I hope so.
I mean, you're assuming he starts, Dan.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with Gardner. We felt like he outperformed.
We're going to 15 groom him in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's my point, though. I mean, that's what we got to have here.
Sure. I think that's coming. Let's hope it's, that the success on the field is realized and it'll just feed itself, and we're going to be in for a wonderful 15-year ride with a franchise quarterback, and by then a coaching transition. So
yeah,
we'll see. We never talked about this last week. We had so much going on as we just were on the Urban Tracker.
Yes.
And it's not exactly golf season, although shout out Kevin Na won the Sony Open this weekend. But
4 birdies in the last 6 holes.
Yeah, I watched the part 1 of the Tiger doc. I guess you said part 2 came out last night.
Yes.
And I will say this. I'm not trying to be a prude.
Okay.
It's kind of off-putting to me.
Yeah.
They just did it's a tabloid gotcha.
Yeah.
Look what a terrible person Tiger and his dad, and let's revisit all of the terrible things that Tiger did effort. And if I'm Tiger, I'm ticked. I mean, how dare you just dredge all this stuff up again?
Right.
How do you tell us the documentary of Tiger Woods? It is almost extremely focused for 3 hours on the negative things in his life. Isn't fair, and that's what I feel like that was.
Well, there were a couple things that bothered me watching part 2.
I didn't do now. Last night it's just like the sexcapades, and I can only imagine what they are. And look, I'm driving down the highway, and there's a 8-car pileup. I'll watch, but I don't know if it needed to be produced.
Well,
I don't know what the point was.
A couple things that bothered me.
What about the uke? How'd she look? The uke.
The uke.
Rachel, you could tell.
Uke is sad and cries a lot.
Rode hard and put up wet's what she looked like
here.
to me.
Easy. The things that bothered me were, one, this thing he did in Ponte Vedra. Like, he didn't have to.
Robo-Tiger.
Robo-Tiger didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to answer to anyone.
No, and
they
then,
acted like he murdered someone.
Right, and then the worst one, to me, look, Tiger did some.
I haven't seen part 2 yet. I haven't watched that
Tiger
one.
did
But you're not going to spoil anything.
No, you'll know these.
I know
You'll
the
remember
story.
these.
Yeah.
Tiger did some terrible things to his family, and he has to live with that.
Absolutely.
That bothered me. Second thing that bothered me was then chairman at Augusta, Billy Payne.
Yeah, who are you?
Shut up.
Yeah, would you pull aside Fred Couples and tell him that?
They said that exact same
Oh,
thing.
did they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That smacked of.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then the third thing.
I don't like that one bit either. You don't think Billy Payne and his circle of friends haven't chased a wild goose every now and then?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
And then the third thing was the absolute despicableness I felt watching the paparazzi and the lowest form of chasing Elin around when she did. All she wanted was to be a mom, raise her kids.
Yeah, she married the wrong dude.
And they're screaming questions at her, though, that and even like Jimmy Fallon making jokes about her, calling her a gold digger. Please.
Yeah.
I mean, so those were the things that made me feel a little uneasy.
I did watch the first one, and I felt like it was an hour and a half.
And then
get out a hatchet and just swing it at Earl Woods in any and every way. To bring back one of Earl Woods' buddies who they talked about how they like to bring women out.
Yeah.
What in the world? Yeah. And by the way, you may think that affected Tiger. You don't know if it affected Tiger.
And it wasn't
the whole
good,
thing.
man.
I expected more.
I kind of agree.
I thought I was going to get at least I'm okay if I get not just a Tiger, wow, the greatest ever piece.
Yeah.
Because we've seen those Tiger docs. I thought it would be sprinkled in with what would give me the total picture of Tiger. And that's not what they gave me. All they gave me were Tiger's, the negatives that were in Tiger's life and the mistakes that Tiger made.
I didn't see all of part 2, but there were a couple things there that sat with me. Anyway, it's like a train wreck. And I mean, if you're Tiger Woods, like Mark O'Meara's wife was interviewed on it. I'm like, why would she get interviewed on it? Is she mad at him? Because Stevie, obviously, the Stevie thing was a bad look by Tiger during that time, because basically he called Tiger and said, do you mind if I caddy for Adam Scott? And Tiger said, no, I understand, because he's waiting and Tiger's not playing. And he says, Adam called me. Is that cool? And Tiger said, sure, it's cool. And then a couple days later, his people called and said, don't do it. If you do it, he'll make a change. So he said, well, I got to do it. He did it, and they made a change.
Listen,
which he's allowed to do.
Well, let me clarify one thing. Part 1 was more sympathetic to Tiger.
Yeah.
sympathetic to Tiger dealing with Earl Woods, having to live with Earl Woods as a father is basically what I took from it.
Yeah, part 2 is not sympathetic.
No, part 2 is look at what a terrible person
Part
Tiger
2 is Tiger rolling into a church in his car, meeting up with the waitress.
Yeah.
That's what part 2
right,
is.
which is, again, there is no purpose to this other than to sensationalize, and I would think HBO would be bigger than that. You're not doing something on some, NXIVM cult with a bunch of terrible people. I mean, Tiger, I think it's safe to say, and in a way, it's what bothers me about sports journalism and society right now. Anytime an athlete or a coach, Urban might be an example, that did something, sometimes bad, 10 years ago, you shouldn't be a referendum on that every time you get a new job. You deal with what you did wrong. You apologize. You hopefully make changes in your life. And it's not fair that be brought up every 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And it happens too much. And that's what Tiger paid a serious penalty, Dan.
Yes, he did.
I mean, you want to talk about a fall from grace. He was humiliated. He was health went to hell in a handbasket. He had to get a divorce. He lost his father. I mean, he paid an unbelievable. The father had nothing to do with all that.
They did do a nice job of chronicling all the injuries and showing, it is guy is tough as nails, man.
But to pay all that penalty then, and I mean, he's in a dark, dark place. To now have to turn, in 10 years, this is HBO too now.
Right.
We're not watching Spike TV or some. To watch HBO now suddenly, let's just rehash it all again. Not going to really tell you anything you didn't know. We're just going to tell you more graphically what you do.
Change gears here for a second. I'm looking at this PFF mock draft. And if this is the case and Kyle Pitts falls to 16, if you're the Jags sitting there at 25 and 33, do you go up and get him?
If it is going to be a real important part of your offense, the tight end position, and you can utilize a weapon like we're seeing other tight end weapons being utilized, then and you have conviction about it, then yeah. Now, if you think that Freiermuth in round 2 is going to be a weapon, and you want to spend 10 of those draft picks and not 6 of them, then you do it that way. The one thing I would say with this team now, as bad as they are talent-wise, you better be absolutely positive if you're going to package premium picks to move up a little bit.
Well, there's truth, but I mean, to me, I'd rather go get difference makers. Look, we tried this again. It depends who picks them, but
if he's
we
a
picked
difference
12
maker,
guys this past year.
No, I get that.
And we went 1 and 15.
And you know what? Things could happen between now and then. Kyle Pitts could be there at 25. That's not out of the question.
I'd be shocked.
I would too, but it's not out of the question. I mean, receivers have jumped up in past him since we started all this. I would remind everyone that there is a lot of shoving. There are guys in the top 10 of mock drafts that are going to go in round 3. I mean, that happens.
Oh yeah.
During this part. Now, if that happens, it kind of becomes a guy that you might not want. I mean, why is he falling that far?
Yeah.
But the Jags certainly have a lot of options. It's good to have them. I do feel in free agency though, go get T.J. Watt. Go get I don't spend it all on a real impact player. And stop bringing me. Our free agency classes are garbage every year after year. A bunch of mediocre players, except for 17, where they spent.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with that either. You got the money, but don't use it on 5 guys. Use it on 2.
Yeah.
Use it on 2 really good guys. And
that's what I mean.
Keep plugging holes, man. Because there's, it's like every mock draft.
If Allen Robinson is willing to come back, go get him.
Here's a problem with the Jags. And this is the problem every freaking year. We have more holes than we do spots to fill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every year. Because no matter what we do.
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's bad. No matter what we do, we come back and go, well, they didn't address this. Well, because they can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
every year.
Here's my belief, okay? And this
nuts.
could be, I'd like to think after being here for every second of Jaguars, as have you been for 26 years, that you would learn something after a while.
Yeah.
I feel like this team isn't as bad as they've made us think they are. I think with
that'd be great.
A good, proficient coach can come in. Look, think about it this way, Dan. As bad as they were.
Yeah.
If you go to the middle of the schedule, they're losing 3-point games to good teams.
Oh, yeah.
And those aren't wins. You're still 1 and 15.
Oh,
but that's not like losing every week 48-10. My God, we're
Right.
just a disaster bad.
Right.
We're poorly coached. We're going in different directions. We've got no front office leadership. This place is a mess. If you can bottle all that up, even with the roster that they have, they could win 4 or 5.
We gave up more points in the history of the franchise this year than any other year.
With a head coach that showed undying loyalty and would never touch the defensive coordinator. You can't run it that way.
We must address the defense as well.
For sure. It looks like Raheem Morris, who's was a bit a head coach.
Raheem Morris or Joe Cullen are the two names being kicked around.
It's not like Raheem Morris has been some hotshot defensive coordinator anywhere, though, by the way. I mean, he fills the role, and he's an accomplished veteran coach, but it's not like you've ever gone through a phase in NFL football where you're fearing the Raheem Morris defense coming at you that week. I don't even know how much. Has the guy even been a coordinator? Has Raheem Morris ever been a coordinator? He's been a head coach.
Yes.
I know he took over the coordinator duties. I mean, Raheem Morris, Dan, was coaching like the Falcons wide receivers, and they flip-flopped him last year or this year.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, he was the Falcons D coordinator before he took the head coaching job. And he was in college, he was a D coordinator at Kansas State.
But so there in the NFL, he's never been a D coordinator except when he was promoted interimly for Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't been in Atlanta since 15. So.
Right.
That doesn't mean he can't be any good. I'm not saying that.
So in Atlanta, he was the assistant head coach. To your point, Jeff, he was the assistant head coach and wide receivers coach, 2016-18.
Yeah.
Flipped to assistant head coach, secondary coach. This season, defensive coordinator until taking over as interim head coach.
I know coordinators are important, but it's like give me the Jimmies and the Joes, man. Give me the guys who are gonna in the Final Four teams. All of a sudden Byron Leftwich is a great coach.
So is Nate Hackett all of a sudden.
And Nate Hackett. Thank you. And
Nate Hackett's getting head coach interviews.
Yeah, I mean, who's the can you tell me all the offensive coordinators and defense coordinators in the Final Four?
If I really thought about it, I could. I don't know. I could give you.
Who's the Packers D coordinator? I know who it is, but
Dom Capers.
Yeah.
No,
Ray Rhodes.
No, good guesses.
No, it's
former head coach.
Yeah, it's Pettin.
Mike Pettin. Yeah. So, but I mean, no,
it's the head coach and how does he run the system? There's nobody out there doing. I really think the value of the coordinators we mistake a little bit. We think the coordinator, offense or defense, is about the scheme. I disagree with that.
Uh-huh.
The key to the coordinator is making the chess move during the game. Are you calling the right plays to combat what they're doing?
Well,
that's the talent in a coordinator, if you ask me.
All right, Monday morning quarterback edition keeps rolling on.
does.
Beef, caller number 2 right now. Tell them what they win.
Caller number 2 right now is 641-1010. Going to go home with a gift card, $25 worth, to enjoy some Woody's barbecue on us. 641-1010. Call now.